Not many veterans who sacrificed their lives came from Whittier. However, we give them the same respect as they have served the city. These are just some of the names that have died in World War II who are remembered by their families and their community. Ensign Kenneth W. Baker was in the Navy when he was killed in an airplane crash at sea on April 5, 1944. He was 23 years old and left behind his wife, Nadine Baker. Sergeant Jesse Baker was only 24 years old when he died in an airplane crash in England on April 25, 1944. He left behind no family. Private First Class Randall J. Clark was in the U.S. Marines when he was killed in action September 23, 1944. He left behind his wife, Iva Ottewell, and a son. Fred V. Koffler, who was in the U.S. Navy, died on March 14, 1945. He was even a survivor of Pearl Harbor. Private Louis Diefendorf was 25 years old when he was killed in action in Italy on October 19, 1945. He left behind his wife, Emma Rhea Diefendorf. Lieutenant Milton J. Goldfarb was only 25 years old when he died on March 12, 1945, because of an accident. Sergeant Hardesty was killed in an airplane crash when he was 24 years old in Newfoundland. He left behind his wife, Mabel Evans Hardesty. Lieutenant Bernard Hudson was in the Navy when he died in a plane crash. He left behind his wife. Joseph Leindecker was reporting missing, and his death date is unknown. He was in the Navy and has never been found. Private First Class Eugene F. Lyons was in the Army when he was killed in action on February 25, 1945. He left behind his wife, Lottie Jenkins. Private Albert M. McCracken was wounded in action in Germany, which resulted in his death a week later in 1944. James E. Miller was in the Air Corps when he left Italy and his plane was lost in action. He was killed in action March 16, 1945. Private Quatermass was killed in action with an unknown date in West Germany. He received the Purple Heart, and like all veterans, he was a student at EAWR, which he only attended a year before serving. Sergeant Christy Pate was 30 years old when he was killed in action. The last one veteran who was like no other, the only female to have died in Whittier. Her name was Lieutenant Helen Seney of Whittier. She died January 10, 1945. The brave men and women who fought in the Second World War will always live in the hearts of Whittier citizens.